Hey everyone! Today we are diving into something that can make our digital lives, well, feel really sick. We're talking about computer viruses. We're going to break down how to spot them, and more importantly, how to keep your digital world healthy. Let's dive in.
So let's start with a quick checkup. You know that feeling when your computer is just off? Maybe it's acting sluggish, doing weird things, it's just not itself. Well, it turns out our computers can get sick just like we can. And today, we're going to figure out what that really means.
So to protect ourselves, we've got to understand the enemy. We're going to look at what these digital sicknesses actually are. And we'll start with the most famous one of all, the computer virus.
So what exactly is a computer virus? Well, at its heart, it's just a chunk of code with a bad attitude. And this idea isn't even new. The very first one, called Creeper, showed up way back in the 70s. The goal is simple. Mess up your system by piggybacking on a totally normal file. That's the host. And the moment you open that file, boom, you've unleashed the virus's code.
You know, a virus has a really simple three-step game plan. It's kind of brilliant in a scary way. First, it latches onto a host. Second, you, the user, give it the green light, usually by just clicking on an attachment or running a program. And third, once it's awake, its only job is to spread. It wants to infect new files, new systems. It's a digital parasite by design.
So if a virus is like a digital germ, how exactly do we catch it? Understanding how these things travel is absolutely key to not getting sick in the first place.
And here they are, the usual suspects. You know, the most common ways viruses spread are through things we do every single day. Opening email attachments, downloading files, clicking on some random link on social media, or installing an app that isn't quite what it claims to be. These are the digital handshakes that pass the infection from one person to the next.
And this really gets to the heart of what makes them so tricky. Viruses don't show up with a big warning sign. No, they hide in plain sight. They pretend to be something you'd actually want to open, a funny photo, a video from a friend, a digital birthday card. It's that social engineering aspect that makes them so incredibly effective. All right, so you know what a virus is, you know how it gets around, but how do you know if you're already infected? It's time to talk about the symptoms, those telltale signs that your device might need a doctor. So I want you to pay close attention to the next couple of slides. We're basically going through a checklist of common symptoms. And as we do, just ask yourself, does any of this sound a little too familiar?
First up, let's talk performance. A sudden drop in speed is a classic sign. If your computer used to be super zippy and now it's just crawling, that is a huge red flag. Same goes for frequent crashes or programs that seem to have a mind of their own, opening and closing by themselves. Oh, and getting mysteriously logged out of your accounts? Yep, that's another sign that something is seriously wrong under the hood.
Next, let's look for things that shouldn't be there and things that should be but aren't. Are you suddenly getting bombarded with pop-up windows? Have your friends mentioned getting weird emails from you? Maybe your browser's homepage randomly changed on you. Or even worse, have you noticed that files or even whole programs have just vanished into thin air?
And this one is really devious. Some of the smartest viruses out there will actually attack your defenses first. So if you notice your antivirus software has been turned off, or you're suddenly getting a ton of security warnings from a program you don't even recognize, the virus may have already gotten past the gates.
Now that we've covered the symptoms, let's try to get a more specific diagnosis. Because just like in medicine, there isn't just one type of sick. There is a whole gallery of digital diseases, and each one causes trouble in its own special way.
And the range of what's out there is just incredible. I mean, on one end, you have something like a boot sector virus. This is catastrophic. It attacks the basic instructions your computer needs just to start up. Then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have the browser hijacker, which is mostly just super annoying. It messes with your web browser, but that's about it. Both are bad, but the damage they do is worlds apart.
And the list just keeps going. The overwrite virus is as nasty as it sounds. It just flat out erases your files. A file infector is a classic spreader that loves to jump from program to program. And the network virus is designed for pure chaos. I mean, think of the famous I love you worm. It caused something like $10 billion in damages just by shutting down networks all over the world.
Okay, so people tend to use the word virus as a catch-all for anything bad, but it's really helpful to know the difference. A virus, proper, needs a host file and needs you to help it spread. A worm is totally self-sufficient. It can copy itself and travel across networks all on its own. And a Trojan horse, just like the story, gets inside by tricking you, pretending to be something harmless. The key difference is their method: attachment, self-replication, or pure deception.
All right, we have diagnosed the problem. Now for the most important part, the prescription. How do you actually keep yourself safe? Let's walk through some really crucial steps for good digital hygiene.
The single most important rule is right here. Be skeptical. That's it. Approach the digital world with a healthy dose of caution, because if something seems just a little bit off or a little too good to be true, it probably is.
And here's what that skepticism looks like in practice. This should be a hard and fast rule for everyone. Do not download files or open attachments unless you are 100% sure you know what it is and who it's from. Even an email that looks like it's from a friend could be a virus that's hijacked their account. Now, while your own judgment is critical, you also need a good technological safety net. That means installing security software from a company you trust. But here's the key. You have to keep it updated. New threats pop up literally every single day. Since email is such a huge highway for infections, let's get really specific. Here's your 3-step plan. 1, we've said it, but it's worth saying again, don't open attachments you didn't ask for. 2, if an email looks like spam, just delete it. Don't even open it. And 3, here's a great pro tip. View your emails in plain text. It can stop malicious code hidden in fancy formatting from ever running.
Ultimately, everything we've talked about really boils down to this one idea. You can have the best software, the best firewall, but all of that is just your first line of defense. The final, and honestly the most important line of defense, is you. It's your skepticism, your habits, your decisions. We spend so much time and energy thinking about updating our software and running scans, but how often do we stop and think about updating our own awareness? Your software can be protected, sure, but the real question is, what about your judgment?